Hello everyone, I am Rita and you are welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I share easy and detailed cutting and sewing tutorials to help you create beautiful and amazing outfits that are so astounding. You know that this kind of outfit that whenever you wear your kids, your child is wearing it, people get to ask who made these outfits. Like it gets her stunning. It, even if you are just starting out or you've been sewing for a while, I'm telling, especially people that are just starting out in this channel, I'm going to guide you every step, like step by step, through every project from simple designs, simple gowns, to bulky ones, to stylish designs. So if you love sewing and want to grow your skill and grow your craft and become a master, please don't forget to subscribe, to hit the subscribe button and join our creative family. Also, please also like and share like that way other newbies will also learn. So today I'm going to be taking us an A-line gown for a baby of 1 year, an A-line gown with ruffles at the edge. In fact, this particular design was one of the designs that trended very well last year. It trended to a point that if your child doesn't have it, it feels like your child is missing out. So if this is what you would like to learn, please I beg you to stick around. Don't just watch half and go. Please stick with me, watch to the end. And please and please and please and please, my lovers, I beg you to subscribe and also hit the like button. Please equally share. And I tell you, you will not regret it. So today on this episode, like I said, we are going. Let's dive right in. So like I said, so for the baby of one for the A-line dress, I'm working with the shoulder of 6.5, the chest of 17, waist of 18, neckline of I'm going to be using neckline of 2.5, and then the baby's full length is 20. So let's dive in. So the first thing I'm going to be doing, I'm trying to know the first thing I'm going to be doing is to measure the baby's shoulder. And please, I advise that you take the child's measurements. That way, it will save you from a lot of amendments. It will save you from stress of what I ordered versus what I got. Thank you so much. So let's dive right in. So this child's shoulder measurement is 6.5. So I know if I divide 6.5 by 2, like if I say like I want to use my tape to divide, I'm going to carry the head of my tape and place it at 6.5, and then I will divide. So when I divide it, I'm having 3.25. So 3.25, I'm going to be adding half inch plus as half inch is going to give you 3.75. So this is it, 3.75. So what the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my neckline. So my neckline for the width, I'm going to be using 2 inches, and then for the depth, I'm going to be using 2.5. And then the next thing I'm going to do is that at this my shoulder measurement, I'm going to be dropping down, like coming down by half inch. You can see how I mark it, this half inch. So I'm going to be connecting this half inch to this neckline with a straight line. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect it like this. Yes, I've done the connection. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out this baby's armhole. So from here, I'm going to be marking out the armhole. So the armhole is 3.5. So this is my 3.5. So I'm going to measure it to ensure that this thing is on a straight line from what I have here. Remember here I have 3.75. So here, to make sure that I have is on a straight line. So this is my 3.75, so that by the time you rule it, is going to align. So I'm going to be connecting it straight. don't know what is wrong with my marker. Sorry, please. Okay, I think I should make do with of pen. So I'm going to be ruling it with pen. So I've connected it. So I'm just going to mark and rule this line, extend the line like this, and then this becomes my chest line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect my neckline. I'm going to be connecting my neckline. I'm making use of my French curve. I'm going to be connecting my neckline, and this is it. I've done the connection of my neckline. You see, everything is coming out beautiful. So remember that from the measurements I told us our measurement, the shoulder is 6.5 plus half inch for ease plus half inch. Our shoulder is 6.5 plus half inch for ease. Then our chest measurement, our chest that's rounds the circumference is 17, waist circumference is 18, then the full length I'm working with is 20. So the next thing I'm going to be measuring is my full length. So I'll put my tape from here, from the beginning, and then I'll measure 20. You can see that's almost, let me bring in the cardboard so that the paper I'm working with, so that we'll see. If you look at, you will find out that the measurement I have is almost like 21, that's 20.75, but I'm working with 20. But remember that you're going to be having your sewing allowance for folding, so I'm just going to make use of this 20.75. Normally at the edge, I normally leave like 2 inches, so that by the time you fold, after folding it, you'll be able to have your 20 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out the baby's half length. This baby's half length is 7.5. So you will now take it from the, please, I'm trying to mark out to the half length. So the baby's half length is 7.5. So I'll put my tape from the beginning, at the beginning, from where I started my measurement, and then I'll mark out my 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect the lines, to connect the dots, as to make a straight line. So now we are going to be taking to start marking out our measurement. Remember that we say the chest is 17. So if I'm dividing 17 by 4, like, note that your the roundness of a person, we call it circumference. That's if you're not taking, like, from, if you're putting a tape around the person to take, we call it circumference measurement. So this baby's chest circumference is 17. So if I'm to divide 17 by 4, if I'm to divide 17 by 4, it's definitely going to give me 4.5. If I'm dividing 17 by 4, if I'm to divide 17 by 4, is going to give me 4.5. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put my tape here, and I'll measure my 4.5, and then I'm going to add 2 inches allowance. Please, if you are just starting, it's better you have enough allowance. It's better you have enough allowance, because don't just look at people that have mastered, even to a point, people that know their way, they still add enough ease, so that if there is anything, you can easily correct it. So I'm going to be adding 2 inches allowance. So this is my 4.5. I put my tape from here, That's 17 divided by 4 gave me 4.5, and then plus 2 inches allowance, you can see. So now the baby's waist is 18. This baby's waist is 18. So if I'm to divide 18, I'm sorry, please. If I'm to divide 18 by 4, 18 18 divided 18 divided by 4. I'm going to divide it with my tape. All I need to do is I'll put my tape from the beginning here to 18. I'll just fold. So I'll fold into 2 first and then open to see what it gave to me. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 2, I'll fold it again because I'm dividing into 4. So I'm going to fold my tape into 4 pieces. Now, I've done the first fold, which is I folded into 2. So I'm folding another into 2. So that's 9 divided by 2. I'm going to have 4.5. You see, I'm having 4.5. So I'll mark my 4.5 plus 2 inches allowance. Please hope you are following. Plus 2 inches allowance. Let me bring it close to the camera. So can you see? And remember that the length I'm working with is 20 inches. It's 20 inches. So I'm making use of the whole space, the whole sheet, because when we measured it, we got 20.75, which is not enough. But when I'm cutting, I'm going to add the remaining allowance. So this 20.75. So all I need to do is I'm going to connect my lines. Okay, so because this is an A-line gown, at the end here, I'm not going to be, what I'm going to do is to check what I have here. If you look at, I'm having 6.5 here, 6.5. So I'm not going to mark, see, let me bring my camera. So I'm going to be marking 6.5 at the end, and then I'll be adding extra 5 inches. Extra 5 inches. So I'm going to be connecting it. Sorry, I'm shifting it because I want us to understand this very well. I'm going to be connecting from here to this place because, like I told us, it's an A-line gown. So please, okay, I didn't remember to come with my ruler, so I'm trying very hard to connect it. So I hope, please, you make use of your ruler. So I'm going to be connecting from here. So can you see? I've done the connection. This is what we have. This is what we have. Before I continue, I said, when we started, I said we are working with the neckline of 2 inch and the depth 2.5. And then our shoulder measurement is 6.5. When we divided it by 2, it gave us 3.25. But I added half inch for it. So the shoulder measurement we use here is 3.75. So we came down by half inch and we connect it to this neckline. So we now mark our armhole. Our armhole, sorry, is 3.5. So from this half inch that we came down with, to we took our half inch and we ruled our line. We ruled our line. So we extended this line. That line now became our chest line. Our chest line. So our waistline is 7.5. This is our waistline, and then this is our full length, because I told us I'm working with the full length of 20. But please note that you are going to be adding your ease, your allowance, whatever you call it. Me, I usually use allowance, but you hear some people say ease, which they are still the same. So you add your allowance. For here I'm going to be adding extra 2 allowance, but it's not enough. So when I'm cutting, I'm going to be adding it. So this, we are done with the front pattern. This is our front pattern. We are done with the front pattern. We are done like this. So we are going to be drafting our back pattern. We are going to be drafting our back pattern. So let me take out this, and then, so for our back pattern, this is what we are going to do. Just like we did in the, when we are drafting our, I don't know why the cardboard is just flipping over. I'm trying to stretch it so that it will last for this work. Okay, so remember that the shoulder measurement, now we are drafting our back, the back bodies, the back pattern, the back bodies. So now remember that we are working with the shoulder measurement of 6, and I told you, for you to get a shoulder measurement, when you measure your client or the baby that you are working with, you are going to be dividing by 2, and then you add half-inch allowance. So remember, this baby's shoulder measurement is 6.5. So when you divide 6.5 by 2, is going to be giving you 3.25, then plus half-inch, plus your half-inch. So it will give you 3.75. So this is my 3.75. So then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my neckline. And I said that the neck width I'm working with is 2 inches. This is it here. This is my shoulder. And this is, so I will go to my shoulder measurement, and then I'll come down by half-inch. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to connect this half-inch to my neckline. So this is it. With a straight line, you are going to be connecting it. So please make use of your ruler so that you get a perfect straight line. Okay. So this is it. I've connected my shoulder line to my neckline. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my neck, the depth, my neck depth. Remember, when we are working with the front bodies, we use the depth of 2.5. But because this is my back bodies, I'm going to be using 1 or 1.5. Okay, let me make it 1.5. 1.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect. I know you'll be wondering, why didn't I add my zipper allowance? I will add my zipper allowance when I'm cutting. When I'm cutting it, that's when I'll add my 1 inch for zip. When I'm cutting it on the fabric, I didn't remember when I started teaching to mark out. So when I'm cutting it on the fabric, before, from here, I'm going to be adding my 1 inch zipper allowance. So let's continue. Remember, the armhole that we work with in the front bodies is 3.5. So from this line here, from this place that we dropped by half-inch, that we connected to our neck depth, our neck width rather, we are going to be marking our armhole. So our armhole from here is 3.5. So I marked my 3.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect it. So this becomes our chest line, just like we did at the front bodies. Don't worry, I know I didn't put armhole. I'm going to do it here and then cut. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure my waist measurement. So the waist is that we work with for the front body is 7.5. So I'm just going to be marking 7.5, 7.5 here, 7.5, sorry, 7.5, and then I'm going to connect it with a straight line. So this is it. So I've done the connection. I've connected them, all my dots, with a straight line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark out my full length. I'm going to be marking out my full length. Remember, when we are drafting the front bodies, I checked what we have here. If you look at what we have here, okay, sorry, before we move, we are here to insert our chest measurement. So our chest measurement from what we got at the front is 4.5. You put your 4.5 and then you add your 2 inches allowance. That's 17 divided by 2, then 2 inches allowance. That's what I did at the neck. And then at the waist, we said that this baby's waist circumference is 18. And then when we divide 18 by 4, we are going to be having 4.5. And then we add our 2 inches allowance. Please ensure you add your ease. It's very important. And then now we are going to mark out our full length. But before we do that, we are going to be measuring what you have here. You see, here I'm having 6.5. So I'll first of all mark my 6.5 here at the end here, at the end of that's the child's full length. I'll mark my 6.5. Let me bring in this very close. I'll mark my 6.5, but I'm going to add extra 5 inch because I told you that I'm making an A-line dress. So extra 5 inch. I've added my extra 5 inch. All I'm going to be doing now is, let me bring it close. I'm going to be connecting this line to this and to the full length here. So let's do that. So you see, please ensure you are connecting with your ruler. So I've connected it. So I'm going to be connecting to the end. So I've done that. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark our armhole. For you to get your, so you go to this your armhole. Here we have 3.5. You just put your tape. You divide your 3.5 by 2. Can you see how I did my tape? Before, my tape was like this. Let me shift the camera up so that you see it. Before, my tape, if you look at from here to where I marked my chest line, my tape was like this, which gave us 3.5. And then I'll fold. Sorry. 3.5. And then I'll fold it. And then I'll mark. When you fold it, I marked. Or rather, you can just, since you know the armhole you are working with the armhole of 3.5, you can just simply divide your 3.5. When you divide your 3.5, okay, here we got 1.75. When you divide your 3.5, you are going to be having 1.75. So you simply mark your 1.75. And then here you are going to be coming in by ½ inch. You come inside from this your armhole line here, you come in by ½ inch. So this is it. You can see this is ½ inch. So what I'm going to do is to connect this to this and to this, and we are done. As simple as that. You see, it's as simple as ABC. So please ensure you put your French curve properly so that you'll be able to get your measurements. correct. So I'm going to be connecting. First of all, I'll connect from here to here, and then from here to here. Okay, let me make use of this. So this is it. Can you see? Then so see, this is it. I've done it. So this is it. I've connected our armhole. So let me go over it again. I said when we are drafting that, here we are trying to make an airline dress for a child of 1 year, an airline dress with ruffles. So I told us that the measurement we are working it with is show that 6.5 plus half inch. That's half inch for your allowance, or is your chest. The baby's chest circumference is 17 plus me in particular, I added 2 inches allowance. The baby's weight measurement is 18, and then I still added 2 inches allowance. Then the full length we are working with is 20 inches, but then I'm going to be adding allowance at the edge. The allowance is for your folding to give you a perfect finishing. So we've come to the end of the drafting. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut. So okay, now remember I told you that I didn't put my armhole in our front bodies. This is our chest here, our chest line, our waistline, then full length. Don't worry, next time I'm going to be using marker because I don't understand what my marker was doing today. So remember I told you that I'll be showing you how to put your armhole in our front bodies like I did in the back bodies. What you need to do is you come to this place, to this your armhole measurement. Simply the armhole that we use is 3.5. Simply divide 3.5 by 2. When you divide 3.5 by 2, it's going to be giving you what? 1.5. If you divide your 3.5, let's do it. I will just fold my tape. I'm using my tape to divide. So when I divide my 3.5 by 2, it gave you what? Yes, 1.25 like I told you. So I'm going to be marking my 1.25. Look at it. This is my 1 inch. Then 1.25 is somewhere here. Look at it here. So you find yes. Okay, it gave us 1.5 rather. When you divide your 3.5 by 2, it will be giving you 1.5. So simply you mark your 1.5. When you mark your 1.5, then you are going to come in by half inch. Your half inch. You see? So this is, I just put my tape like this. Let me put it this way so that you see. I put my, look at it. I'm just starting from here. So I'm just trying to get half inch. I put my, and then this is half inch. This is half inch. So all I need to do is I'm going to be connecting from here to this place, and then it will hit this line here. So let's do that. So I'm going to place my French curve like this. Some people like using freehand. Me, I prefer using French curve so that it will give me a perfect line. It doesn't mean that people that are using freehand, they are not doing a good job. They are, but I prefer using, like I said, I prefer using French curve. So I'm going to be connecting. So can you see? I'll just blend it very well. Can you see? So this is our armhole. So what the next thing to do is I'm going to be cutting it out. Remember, these are our front bodies. And this is our back bodies. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out. And remember that I said down here I'll just write add 2 inches allowance, so that I will not forget allowance. The same thing, I'll do it here. I'll simply write, because I need the 2 inches for folding, I'll simply write add 2 inches allowance for folding. Then remember that when we are drafting back bodies, I said that I didn't put zip allowance and I told us that I'm going to be putting it while cutting. So here I will just write maybe add at this end, add 1 inch for zip. So that way you don't forget. I like writing it down. That way you don't forget, because at times you might say, I remember, but you know you're human, then you might not forget. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut out. So I'm going to start with my front body. So, and this is it. I'll start cutting. Please ensure that when you are cutting, you are not using the scissors that you are using to cut your fabric, to cut your paper. If not, that scissors will not work again. In fact, it will not be sharp again. So normally get a different scissors. Like me, I use this one when I'm working on paper. I have a separate scissors for cutting fabric. So please, let's get that. So you see, I'm cutting this, my neckline, I'm cutting it out. The shoulder, and then so you can see what we have here. Even without anything, you've known that when you finish sewing this particular cloth, that is going to be beautiful. So I've cut the front pattern, the front body, so I'm going to cut the back one. So this is it. So I've done cutting my back body. Can you see? So when I'm cutting it on fabric, I'm going to be adding my 1 inch allowance for the zip. So let's cut on our fabric. So now I'm trying to cut on fabric. So I'm going to cut my back bodies first. So you can see, I told you that when I'm cutting on fabric, I'm going to be adding my zipper allowance, so you can see it. And I told us I'm going to be adding 1 inch zipper allowance. So you see, I've added my zipper allowance. Can you see? So what I'm going to do is to pin it down. I'm going to be pinning it down so that my pattern will not be shifting while I'm cutting. I'm going to pin it down. Okay. The fabric I folded wasn't enough, so I'm trying to fold more. this is it. I'm going to be putting it like this, and then I'll pin it down and then cut. Remember to put your sewing allowance, put your zipper allowance like I told us. This is it, my zipper allowance, which is 1 inch. So I'm pinning down my pattern to my fabric so that I'll be able to so that the pattern will not be dancing around when you are cutting. I like pinning down, so I'm going to be pinning it down all the way. I'm pinning it down. I'll go to my armhole, and then I don't know if we are seeing. Let me move my camera, and then I'll go to my armhole. I'll pin it down also, so that it won't be shifting while I'm cutting. So I'll pin it down. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting. So I'll start from the end here. So like I told us that I have a separate scissors for cutting my paper, and then another separate scissors for cutting on the fabric. So this is me cutting the fabric. So I'll start from here. Remember I told us, don't forget, you see, because when I was drafting, let me move my camera very close, because when I was drafting, I put it down, add 2 inches allowance. You see, I can easily remember that I'm supposed to add 2 inches allowance here, that what I have here was not enough, and I told us what the 2 inches is for. That is for sewing allowance, so for the folding. So now I'm going to be adding my 2-inch allowance. So this is it. So I'm cutting. I've already put every other sewing allowance, so I'm just cutting straight. So let me move it down. So you see, because I pin it down, I don't have the problem of trying to hold down material, hold down any pattern while cutting. I'm just cutting straight. So now I'm trying to cut the neckline. So this is it. I'm cutting my neckline. So you see, sorry. So I'm done cutting. These are back bodies that I just cut. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just slit it, because this is the back like I told us. I'm just going to cut it open. I'm trying to trim off some excesses that I'm having by the neck here. So look at it, I'm trimming it off. So I've done that. I've trimmed off the excesses. So you can see what we have at the end of the day. Look at it. Look at how beautiful this thing is. So I'm just going to cut to open it at the back here because I'm going to be putting zip. So I'm just going to open it down. So you see, I'm done cutting our back bodies. I finished cutting it. Now you can see what it looks like. Isn't it beautiful? So beautiful. So I'm going to put it aside. I'm going to be pinning our front bodies, and then I'll do the same thing. Remember that I told us that I'm working that we are making is an A-line gown with ruffles at the edge. When I finish doing this, I'll show us how to cut out our ruffles. So I'm going to be folding the fabric again. I'm going to be folding into two. Please note, fold into two. So I'm going to be putting now my front bodies. In these front bodies, I'm not putting any other allowance apart from at the edge for the folding. So you see, I'm trying to, yeah, think it's okay like this. So I'll pin again because I don't want the paper dancing around while I'm cutting. I'm going to go ahead and pin all over so that I'll cut it, especially when you are just starting up. Please pin it. It helps a lot. Even me, I've been sewing for a very long time, but up to date I still pin down so that it will stop the fabrics from flying around when you are working. I'm going to be pinning round, like round. I'm going to be pinning here too. So I'm done pinning. Remember that I told us at the edge here that I'm going to be adding, see, add 2 inches allowance. So I'm going to be adding, wait, let me move it. I still remember that I told us that at the edge here, I'm going to be adding 2 inches allowance here because we didn't have, the paper we had was not enough. So I'm going to be adding 2 inches allowance, and then I'll cut. So this is it. So I'm done cutting my front bodies. So I'm going to be removing all my pins back. So can you see what it looks like? Isn't it beautiful? It's very beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to be showing us is how to cut our ruffles. I'm going to set this aside. So I'll show us how to cut the ruffles, and then I'll show us how to put it. So the measurement I'm going to be using for my ruffles, this is the magnet where I put all my affix pin. So I'm going to be using it as my ruffle. So what do I need to do? I'm just going to draw to mark it round. So I'll just cut this circle. That's what I'm going to be doing. So this is the circle here now. I'm going to be cutting this circle. You see? I will cut like a lot of it. So it's not something I just want to show us. I will cut like 5 and show us what to do. Or equally, I can just put my magnet and draw a lot of lines for easy cutting so that I can just cut. Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm just going to put the magnet and draw my lines. So I'll just do the cutting. Just going to be drawing circle, 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 circle all over, and then I cut them out. Okay, so let me cut out this ones and show us. Okay, so I will cut more ruffles later. I just want to show us. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Like I told us, is an A-line dress with ruffles at the edge. So this is it. This, remember, this is our front pattern. Okay, this is the front. So I'm going to be folding this ruffle like this. I'll fold it like this, and then let me bring it very close. I'll fold it like this, and then I'll stitch it like, and then I'll fold this one like this, just like this. Put two of them like this together, pin them down, and then I'll run a stitch, a straight stitch down on them like this. I'll just put them, can you see? Just like this. I'll then run a straight stitch. Okay, let me pin it down so that we'll look at it and see how beautiful the thing will look. It's just that I didn't cut a lot. I just cut just small. Like I'll pin this one down, and then pin this down too. And then I'll put this. I'll pin it down. I'll put another one like this. And meanwhile, I want to combine colors. I'm not just going to use blue. I'm going to be combining blue and red to give it a very nice look. No, it's not like if I use only blue, it won't be fine. It will still be fine, but I just want to do something different for my clients, because the picture they showed me anyway has like multiple colors. Wow, I was asked to work with only two colors. So you see, I'll put this, and then I'll put and pin down, pin down. Then I'll equally put another one like this. And pin it down. Can you see how it's coming out? Isn't it beautiful? So I'm going to make it full. I'll just pin it down, pin it down, pin it down. If you notice, you find out that I didn't take this thing to the end. That's because I'm going to be folding here. I'm going to be folding it in. I'll fold it in. Before I would put this, I would have done my folding in. But it's because I'm just trying to use pin to show us. So I'll fold in, and then I'll now put my ruffle. So after you've done like this, all you need to do is stitch with a straight stitch. Then you run a straight stitch like this. But if you want to watch me sew it, I will make another video on how to finish, how I made this dress and how I finished it, and I'll show us the final look. Please, thank you for staying with me to the end of this tutorial. God bless you so much. I truly appreciate, and I'm not taking it for granted. Please subscribe to my channel, and so that, and hit the notification button so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be first to know. Also like and share, please, and God will bless you. Thank you so much.